Okay, now, that's just to give me a thing where I can come back to and I can get rid of all that junk at the front. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. The air conditioner is working. Yes, it is. Thank goodness, and I'm sure you can hear it roaring in the background, but it's too hot not to have it on. Too hot. Anyway, hello, everybody. I have no idea how many people are here. How many people are here? Finally. It's crazy. It's crazy. Hello, everyone. I don't know what happened, but they changed. I've been gone, what, 2 weeks? Thank you, Hottie and Ann. Thank you. I've been gone for 2 weeks, and they changed everything. 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks. I don't know. Anyway, thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, the reason I'm here, yes, is first of all, I missed you guys. I did. I missed you guys. The chat, they've changed the chat so it looks different. I mean, it used to be black on white. Now it's white on black. It's like, what is up? Okay, why do they just not leave well enough alone? Why? Oh, why? It's a rhetorical question, I know. All right, let's just forget all that stuff, shall we? I missed you guys too. So I am taking time off this month because I had a lot of stuff I really needed to get caught up on, and I needed time to just breathe for a couple days. So I've got the breathing part down. Now what I need to do is continue getting caught up, which I am doing. I am digging out and making headway, I do believe. You're going through Barb withdrawal. Because change is good. APG, you're not correct. Tracy Dean, I'm glad you're here. I want to show this. I will show these again later. But I got the sweetest letter card from Tracy Dean, and I'm just going to show it to you real quick. Because I can. I can. Yep, I can show it to you. This came in the mail the other day from Tracy Dean. She's in the chat. And because tech heads have no common sense. Whew, I don't know. Anyway, it's the most adorable, look, the sweetest, nicest card that Tracy sent. And I just really appreciate it. And look what she sent. Look what she sent me. She sent me some flutterbys. Yes, she did. That was so sweet. So well, when I come back and I stream for real, because this is a not quite for real kind of stream. This is just a, let's see if we can make this work, which thank goodness I tried it ahead of time. It's Friday, Romeo. It's Friday. Hello, Romeo. I know. So thank you, Tracy. That was really sweet. I love the butterflies, and I showed him, and so I'm probably going to start using them in my journal. The other thing I wanted to show you is this is a letter that I got from Lady True North, who is Jan in pardon me, Jan is in Canada, and she sent me a letter, and she sent me all these wonderful pictures. And some of you have heard me talk about Mr. Bear before. That's her husband. That's Mr. Bear right there. And some of her artwork and so forth. Oops, sorry. There's artwork up there. So I will, her letters are wonderful, and so I'll read that when we come back, the first part of September. But I just wanted to say thank you publicly to both Tracy and Jan for their wonderful letters that they sent. So I just wanted to say thank you. All right, that's enough of that. So meanwhile, back at what I was going to do before we figured out that nothing was working quite as it was intended to work. You might as well laugh, right? Might as well laugh. Might as well laugh. I got a, okay, hold on a minute. There we go. I got some products sent to me by the company Arteza or Arteza, and so I'm going to unbox them and we're going to take a look at them. I don't know if I'll use them again after that or not. It just depends. I'm not much of a watercolor person. Race is our hero. Yes, he is, Sandy. Race is our hero. And so all I've done is taken these out. They sent these 3 things in 2 big boxes. I'm not really sure why, but anyway, they would have all fit in 1, but they sent them in 2. So that's what they did. So this is a set of 48 real brush pens. I'm not much of a watercolorist, so this is probably, you know, my skill level with watercoloring is pretty much limited to goofy relatives. So maybe these will be good goofy relative things. I don't know. Anyway, inside this box are, we'll get these out. So these were sent to me by the Arteza company. And this is what they sent. So these are real brush pens. And I have no idea what these cost because I haven't looked anything up. But this is what they look like. And I have something that we'll test this stuff out on in a minute. So there's 48 of them. And it says on the box that they are unique colors, for whatever that means. Okay, unique colors, blendable, and water-based ink. And it includes a water brush pen. It says that right there. Real brush pens. So that is what's in here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 trays, and they are marked. They are marked on the ends, so the color is on the end of the pen. And there is a water brush, like a Pentel water brush. Is what it looks like, except it's marked. It's branded with Arteza on it. So it says. I don't know whether you're going to be able to see that. I doubt it. There, you can kind of see it right there. It says Arteza right there. This is my Pentel water brush right here. So they're very similar in shape. They're both flat. They have that flat shape. They're very similar in shape. So anyway, this one says Arteza. This one says Pentel. That's all I can tell you. All right, so there's that. So we'll look at those in a minute. Then they also sent Brenda says that brush pens and she and the brush pens don't tango very well. All right, in this box there is a set of watercolor pencils, break resistant watercolor pencils, 72 of them. Okay, so here are the watercolor pencils. 72 expert. This could be a problem. This could be a problem. Expert, I don't think I don't think that I necessarily deserve experts, but we'll see. Okay. So in the lid, there is a color chart with all the names and the numbers in the color chart up there. Let's see if we can get in. Yeah. So that's what it says. 72 unique colors. Artist quality. 4mm lead, break resistant, blendable, water soluble, and acid free. Does the Arteza have multiples of any of the water brushes? I don't know. I have no idea. I really don't know the answers to anything because I'm really not terribly familiar with this company. All right, and it does give you the key for the light fastness. So each of the colors up here has these little, I don't know what those are, plus signs. And so that relates to this key down here as far as light fastness. Excellent, very good, good, fair, and poor light fastness. So some of this column right in here, peony pink, fruit punch, plum purple, fuchsia, flamingo pink, all the colors that I like to work with, of course. Peaches and cream, pink maroon, lavender. Those are all not so hot when it comes to the light fastness over here, fair or poor. But that's never stopped me before. Never stopped me before. So these are the pencils. Kind of these little plastic tray things are not terribly substantial, but you know, I wouldn't leave them in the tin anyways. I know some people leave stuff in the tins. I tend to what I tend to do is I tend to buy a thing like this. I tend to get a thing like this and put my pencils in a container like this, or, and this holds 72. It has 2 sections in it. I just bought it at the craft store. Or the other thing I do is make my own, and so that's what this is. And I realize I'm not watching the chat very well. The setup here is, we've changed the setup, and so I'm not quite used to where I'm looking at the moment. Not only did we change the setup, but everybody else changed the setup too. Anyway, so this is the other thing that I do. So I'll make my own holder like this. And so these are the watercolor art grip aquarelles from Faber-Castell. So rather than use a tin, I tend to repackage them the way that I like to see them. So I do tend to keep the tins, but I just put other stuff in them. Yeah, that is what I do as well. Okay, so there are 3 containers of the watercolor pencils in here. 3 of these little tray things. See, that's why I don't like this. Anyway. And all of these say expert. I don't know that you're going to be able to see that, because anything that's this highly reflective tends to be a little hard to see, but there you go. Expert. That's what they say. Let's see if they're in color order. A307, A305, A210, A207. They appear to be in numerical order. Yeah, they appear to me to be, no, they're not. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Barb, it doesn't matter. Anyway, they're the colors. There's 72, so that's what the package says. Okay, let's play with them, shall we? Let's play with them. Let's play with them. And they also sent a package of Expert watercolor, 14 sheets, 100% cotton, mold made, cold press, acid free, glue bound. That must be on a pad then. All right, let's open this and see what it is. Adi Bobo says they were until you dropped them and then put them back. That's entirely possible. I only dropped a few. Uh-oh. APG's back there. She's burning dinner. Okay. Hottie Popo is Susan, in case you guys didn't know. It's good to see you, Hottie. Alright, so there's the watercolor pad. Okay, it's just glued on the one end, which is like what most watercolor pads are done. So there's 14 sheets. Okay? All right. Okay. Okay. I got myself so discombobulated as we were trying to get all this going a little bit ago. I got myself discombobulated. So what I'm going to do is we'll try several different things. How's that? Let's do this. I have a mandala because that's what I love. I took one of my mandalas. This is from one of my books from the Mandala Medley. And yes, I do know how to spell mandala, even though it's misspelled on here. This was a preprint, you know, it was one of those copy things where we were just printing them out and checking things. So anyway, I took this, put it on my light pad, put a piece of watercolor paper. This is cold pressed watercolor paper, not Arteza's. And then drew it, and then I went over it with a glaze pen. So that's what I've got. Okay? This is, well, it's apologies to everyone for the rough start we had. So what we're going to do, rather than swatch all of this stuff out on, you know, a proper swatching situation, I thought what we would do is kind of just fill in this using whatever the art supplies were. And so we'll just randomly, I'm not going to make this into anything. I'm not going to make it a proper mandala. I'm just going to use it as my swatching thing. Okay? Alright, so let's just, you know what we're going to do? That's what we're going to do. I'm just going to dump these suckers out and let's just try them and let's see what they do. Okay? Let's see what they do. I don't have any idea what color is, let's see, does it say what color is what? Doesn't have a color. Oh, this is peach. It does, in very fine print. This is peach, A116. All right, peach. Okay, we're going to start with peach. And I should be able to come in nice and tight so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Alright, so I'm just going to do a little of that. I'm going to use a little water brush. We'll see how this works. See if I can move this. I think I like it better if it's just the pen. What I was doing is just testing it up here. Alright, that is peach. Okay, so I'm gonna do one pen. I'm gonna set it off to the side and just randomly pick up another one. This color is cadmium orange. Alright, let's do, I just want to see if this will just spread the color. Like I said, I am not a watercolor expert by any means, okay? So that's one. Let's try this time. This has just got some of the pigment from the water brush. So I put a little water there. Now I'm going to add some of the real, what are these called? Real brush pen pigment. Alright, well I like that a little bit better. It's a little easier, a little smoother application. Put a little water down there first. This is just a swatching situation going on here. Alright, little water. I It's just, you know, you just got to kind of figure out how things work. And so that's what I'm doing. So do any of you in the chat have these kinds of pens that you've worked with? If you do, put it in caps so I can see. If you have, I would love to know if you've worked with them. I know that there are other kinds of real brush pens. You can tell how much of an expert I am because I can't even control the brush here. That is not the fault of the brush. That would be my inexperience with this kind of thing. However, in the end, it doesn't even matter. That's what I have found with most things, especially with mandalas, because I put in the thing that I love to do more than anything is add all kinds of embellishment. So this one is a little bit ugly, but that's where I started. Let's try taking a darker one. That's another one that we got here. All right, this is orange. Let's do this. What's this? Orange Rust. Let's see how that works. Just to shade this. I'm really zoomed in quite a ways, and I did that on purpose so that you guys could really see what I'm doing. Go back to that cadmium orange just to see if I can blend it a little bit. Like I said, watercolor is not my first strength, so I just wanted to see if we could layer some color on them. Do some shading. Looks pretty good. Okay, so we have used peach, cadmium orange, and a little bit of orange rust. So, orange rust. These are the three colors that we've put on this thing so far. Alright, just checking the chat here for a minute. Yeah, I think that's correct, Sandy. That is, I'm sure that's correct. Lindsay has done a lot of, she's very good at all the reviewing, and she's very good with watercolor as well. Okay, this is lemon yellow. But she has studied watercolor with a bona fide watercolor teacher. That would not be that would not be the category I fit into. That would not be the color. Okay, category. This is lemon yellow, so let's put some lemon yellow in here. Let's do opposites. So we'll put lemon yellow over here. I will say that the pigment comes out nicely. Seems to, from what I can tell. It's a lot stronger if you don't put water down, but it moves a little bit better if you do put water down. I don't know how they're intended to be used because I haven't looked at any videos on them. And then this one is bumblebee yellow. So let's put a little water, and we'll put some bumblebee yellow. Distinctly a little more orangey than the lemon yellow. So did anybody ever say they had tried these? Race, are you still here? Are you still watching the chat? If you are, let me know. They're pretty easy to work with so far. I'm going to take another one, which is sunset yellow. Let's see if we can add a little sunset yellow and blend a little bit. Just see if we can get a secondary color. Sorry, I'm zoomed in so tight that I keep getting myself. You may see some messages there from Nightbot that are old messages. You just have to ignore those. Just ignore those. Alright, so this was, what did I say this was? Sunset yellow. So we'll put a little bit more of that on top of the bumblebee yellow also, just to, well, first of all, you know, here's the thing. When I'm working on my when I'm working on the mandalas myself, for ones that I really want to, you know, for classes or whatever, most of the time I have something on underneath to tone the white down. I don't start over a completely white surface, but if you want to see what the colors really look like, you pretty much have to come, you know, from white up. So yeah, so I like the variation of color when I start with something on the surface other than a plain white surface. But since we're swatching, I decided to go with just white. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay, let's go some more colors here. Let's do, let's switch to some of the blues and greens, shall we? Race, could you adjust the Nightbot thing and take out the Happy July thing? Since you're not here. He's such a smart kid. He's so smart and he's so cute, isn't he? He's so cute. Finds the sizing in the paper. Yeah, I'm sure that that's true. And this paper I'm using right here, this paper is very inexpensive paper. Very inexpensive. So, you know, it works for what I want to do with it. But it's very inexpensive paper. Okay. So what we're going to do now, so I still have a few of the first tray. That's in the first tray that I got the yellows out of. So let's go to this one, which is another tray full of color. I will tell you right now, this is going to be my least favorite set of colors, because browns, grays, those kind of strike me as I don't know, they're just not my favorite color. If my name was Tim Holtz, it would be my favorite set, because he likes brown. I'm not so much on brown. I lived enough of my life in brown and gray. I like color. I like color. So, anyway. Malia's not here. We have lots of people that aren't here. Lots of people that aren't here. Okay, so let's do some of these colors. We'll do some of these, and then we'll do some of these. Purples and pinks. Okay? And blues. Let's do some of these. Okay. Shall we? I hope that sounds like an okay thing with you, because that's what we're going to do. All right, let's go with this one. This one is teal. Sounds like a good color. Sounds like a color I'm going to like. I'm going to fill this section in with just strong color. I'm going to see what it does when it dries. Most of the time, watercolor, I believe, dries lighter. So you can't really go by what it is when it's in the wet state. Correct? Somebody that's here as a watercolor person can tell me if that's true. I definitely am not very good at keeping inside the lines. Alright, let's go to this one. Let's go to a green. And so this color is light green. So let's put a light green in here. I really probably should have looked at some videos on how these were meant to be used, but sometimes the best thing you can do is just jump in and use stuff, you know? And then let's go to this one. So this color is, gosh, Arctic blue. All right, let's do Arctic blue. And let's see. The brushes do, at least some of them are kind of, I don't know if you can you see that? They're kind of split. Now that I'm showing it to you, it's not showing up. Seemed like they were split a little bit, but you know, that could just, they seem to be working okay. Other than the fact that I'm not controlling the color very well. This little baby, if I end up doing anything with it, it's going to need a significant amount of embellishing because I wasn't very careful there. I wasn't very careful. So my experience with watercolor, what little experience I have had, because I tend to reach more for something that's going to be permanent since I never know what I'm going to put on top of it. I tend to swatch them all out and make a chart and stuff, but I think it's a little boring to watch that, so I thought it would be more fun if we just got them out and just did something with it, you know? See what we think of the colors. This is a pretty color. And this color was, what did I say? Arctic blue. Yeah, this is a pretty color. The teal is, that's pretty highly pigmented, that teal. Thanks, Race. Thank you, thank you. Every once in a while I look up and I see one thing in the chat. Race, the camera. How's the camera? How's the camera shot doing? We had to spring for and install a new camera. That's enough to take your breath away. Yeah, that's enough to just take your breath away. Turtle green. Let's see what color turtle green is. Looks to me like it is. What do you think? What do you guys think? Can you see? That does not look. Turtle green. That's what it says. Turtle green. I am definitely not doing a very good job staying inside the lines. Yeah. That is one thing I will have to say. I'm not I'm not very good at doing that. It is dark. It is a dark color. Let's put some water out here on the edge and put some of this in there. So it looks nicer. It looks more watercolor-esque if you put water in there first instead of just using the strong pigment, huh? Don't like that color. It is a dark color. It's like a really super dark. Oh, I'm doing a terrible job with these brushes. I need to calm down. Look at that. Whew. I'm gonna have to put some embellishment on this before we go, just to cover up some of that stuff, some of my slop. I can just feel the comments coming. They are really highly pigmented, though. They are nice. They're nice in that regard, that they have a very, they have a lot of color, a lot of pigment. I think if you practiced with them, I think you probably could do some great things with these. It's very dark. It's a very dark color. All right, let's go to let's try this color. This color is light magenta. Let's see if it really is. Yeah, it is prettier when you use the water with it, for sure. I'm just literally just playing. Oh, all right, for this one, let's put water in it. Just a little bit of water, not much, okay? Not much. Then let's come in with this, what did I say? This was light magenta. No doubt you could get a much better watercolor kind of look. Like that is more, I think, what watercolor's supposed to look like, maybe, huh? Rather than this, than the dense color, which is what I tend to like, the heavier color. So we'll put in some more water. We'll do that with this one all the way around, on these shapes. You really can't brush the way that I'm brushing and get any kind of quality. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Is it Miffy? Some colors are so dark that you put them on a palette and then pick them up with the water brush. Yeah, I think that's a really good thing to do as well. Now, you see here, I'm getting that bloom or whatever. We're just going to let it go. We're just going to let it go. They are nice. They do put down a lot of pigment. I will tell you that. They put down a lot of color. Colors are pretty. Colors are pretty. Even that dark color is pretty. It's really dark when it comes to straight out of the water brush, out of the real brush. Yeah, out of the real brush. I was trying to use the right name. I have no idea how long these would last. If you use them where you were painting on a palette and then picking the paint up off the palette or the pigment off the palette, I bet they would last a long time. But I am getting a, and this is probably just operator error, where I'm getting a lot of the blooming. I don't know if that's a bad thing. Probably not. Probably not. All right, let's go to a pink, shall we? All right, let's put a little bit of water here. And this is, what color is this? Bubble Bath Pink. Well, that is certainly light. Whoops. It's a Bubble Bath Pink with a little bit of whatever that turtle green. Because clearly the turtle green was not the turtle green was not dry. This is a light color. Once again, I got into the turtle green. Stay out of the turtle green. Oh, Dorothy, I'm sorry to hear that. It's a good thing that every day is not like that. I don't know how much of a calming influence this could be on anybody, since I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. I'm just doing it. Now see, if this were a real a real mandala that I were intent upon doing, I would then begin repeating these colors from in here out. But since we're swatching colors, it's going to just be kind of the rainbow-ish kind of thing going on. Now this pink is a lot darker here. That must have been one that I didn't put any water in, huh? So I'm just putting a little bit more of the Bubble Bath Pink on here just to get a little more color. That is so light. My goodness, that was light. Super light. Let's put a little bit more. Stay out of that turtle green. That is a strong color down there. Whew. Strong color. I'll tell you what, the other night when the organizational hop was going on that the Marriott organized and that there were quite a few people involved in, I laughed so hard. I laughed harder than I have laughed in a long time. So, and it was because I was in the live chat, and sometimes the live chat is the best thing, the best medicine. All right, that's Bubble Bath Pink. You like the blooming, Kate? The blooming on it? It's kind of interesting. It does give you variety, so that's nice. I got a lot of bloom right there. Sometimes I like the bloom. Sometimes I'm not fond of it. Sometimes I'm not fond of it. Wisteria Purple. Okay, Wisteria Purple. Let's do Wisteria Purple up here. Yeah, let's put some little water. The live chats can be the most fun, can't they? Especially when you have a certain group of people together and they get started. I don't know. You know how it is? Sometimes you'll get your funny bone gets struck. Something strikes your funny bone. And then you'll get some funny person in the chat, and sometimes their comments just take you on a ride. It was funny. If you haven't seen that hop, I recommend that you go back and that you do. I think it was the Marriott organized it, and think it was under the hashtag time 4, the number 4, numeral 4. So TIME, the numeral 4, art. So if you had, and that was on YouTube, and so if you search that hashtag, I think you'll find all the videos. That's kind of pretty. So that color was eggplant purple. Alright, so I started out, let's see if I can do this again. I put a little bit of water. I put a little bit of wisteria purple. This thing is you're gonna have to wear sunglasses to look at this if I ever finish it. You have to wear sunglasses to look at it. And then I came back with eggplant purple down here. Just to see if I could get a little bit of shading, and then I came back with the lighter purple and kind of blended that. That's what I did. So water, then the lighter purple, then the darker purple, then the lighter purple to blend. Anyway, kind of looks kind of cool. See if I can keep my pins straight. Okay, this one is the, okay, this is the one I want to use next. Goodness sakes. It's a job over here. Trying to keep my pins straight. Okay, so we'll put this one. This is the lighter one. So a little water. Now that came out. I must have got more water on here. I'll stop and look at the chat here again in just a second, because I'm doing a very terrible job of watching the chat here at the moment. All right, a little bit of this. This is the eggplant. Let me get there's this section and one more, and then I'll stop and we'll catch up on the chat. So if you got any questions or anything or comments, hang on just a minute. Let me get this one more little section. This mandala, the name of this one was the Snowflake Mandala. I teach you in the Mandala Madness course how to make one of these, and it's done with folding paper, and it's a fun technique for this one. They're all fun. Every one that I work on when I'm creating a mandala for the course, or just my own, you know, just drawing a mandala like the dream mandala that we did, what, two or three or 4 weeks ago. Whoops, keep my wits about me. See, it's my favorite. It's my favorite. Whatever I'm working on at the time, that is my favorite. Oh, I got the little one that I showed using with the aloe vera gel and the ink tints. I got that one finished. I'll show that to you in a second. Okay, take a break. Okay. Put the lids back on these. The lids fit quite tightly on these. They snap nice and firmly. So you snap and then snap again to get the, you know, get them really airtight. Okay, so we'll let that sit there just a second so you can see. It looks kind of pretty. It looks kind of pretty. Let me get, what did I do with that mandala? Hold on, let me get the mandala. this is the Dream Mandala, which I don't have completely finished from. This is the cool toned version. The greens, blues, purples, and so forth. So it's not quite finished, but it's different than the one we did during the stream, just so you can see it. And here is this is the one that I did with the aloe vera gel and Inktense. The Inktense, what did I use? Blocks? Pencils? I don't know. What did I do? Pencils, I think. Anyway, so then I embellished it and I glued it onto this cover, and I sewed it so it's stitched on the sewing machine. I glued it and then stitched it, and then in order to stop the fraying from the fabric, I edged it using this kind of paint, the Lumiere paints. So that's what's around the edge. Anyway, so that's that, just to show you what got done there. Okay, let me look at the chat in a minute. Let me go back in the chat. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can do this without screwing everything up. Okay. Oh, I see. Tracy says, watercolor isn't made to be contained. For sure. It's a little free form for me in some ways. Okay, just scrolling through the chat here. Hey, Kathy Arbor. Oh, Kathy Arbor. You want to see somebody do watercolor and stuff like that, you should just go to Kathy Arbor's channel and look at her videos. Alright, I'm just reading the chat a second. Lori fell asleep in Mary's stream and missed the best part. It was so funny. Goodness, we laughed and we laughed. We absolutely laughed. Okay. Hi, Robin. Yeah, it's still Friday. It is still Friday. Yeah, Kathy Arbor is, she knows watercolor and acrylics and yeah. So anyway, we're kind of, I mean, we're just, keep in mind, we're just swatching. We are not making this out to be some, the purpose of this is not to create a beautiful mandala. The purpose of this is to swatch these colors. Okay, so we've swatched a few. Let's swatch a few more, shall we? All right. Are there any good reds in here? Let's see. Let's see what we have here. We have red. We have red. We have wine red and neon pink. I bet that won't look so good in here. And we have grape purple and we have orange. Okay, let's use these two. This ought to set everyone's teeth on edge. So just, you can thank me for that. You can thank me for that. Okay, let's do wine red. And just to control this a little bit, let's put a little bit of water in here. Okay, a little bit of water. This is wine red. And Lena is another one who is really phenomenal. That's ugly color. It's probably nice, you know, used in some places. It's probably better as a shading color. And no color is really ugly. No color is ugly. It's just we all have different preferences, don't we? No color is ugly. We don't want to hurt their feelings. Yes, Lena from Denmark is another one who is masterful with watercolor. She doesn't admit that, but it's the truth. Yeah, this one is much better if you put some water down first. Much better. Because these are really intense over here. Really intense. All right, let's do let's go back over here and we'll put some water. And let's try this red and see what this red looks like. It looks, I bet it's going to be red. Yes, it is. It's nice and bright red. Good on a barn. Hi, Patricia. Sorry, I'm doing such a lousy job watching the chat tonight. I'll try to be better when we stream again for real. You would not think that 2 weeks away from streaming would make a person lose their rhythm. You really wouldn't think it. In 2 weeks I could lose the plot. I'm afraid I have lost the plot. Just doesn't help anything when they just all of a sudden change everything. I'm sure it's to make it better though, like somebody said. It's probably to make it better. Back, I know I've talked about this before, but back years ago when we first got into computers, because believe it or not, I wasn't born in the era when computers were part of my life. For example, when I had to take bookkeeping in high school, and it was all done with adding machines, not calculators, adding machines. So you punched in the numbers and then you pull the handle. And those of you that are really young won't have any idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, it was quite a thing. Anyway, so when computers first came in, and we first got one, it took forever for us to pay it off. Man, that thing was bloody expensive. And after we paid for it, and I learned how to do something, and I'd finally understand how something worked, and I was so grateful to know how the program, at that point they were programs, they weren't apps, they were programs, and I learned how it worked, and I was so grateful. And then they would upgrade something, and you'd have to upgrade it. And never was the upgrade just a simple upgrade. Never was it simple. And so then I'd have to adapt, and so I would do pretty well adapting to some point, and then I'd get all used to it. And I'd think, oh, this is great. I know how to do this now. And then they'd upgrade it again, and they'd upgrade it again, and I'd upgrade it again. Holy mackerel! I'm telling you, holy mackerel! It could just make me crazy. I know, CB, right? Okay, so let's see what else we've got here. I got some more colors here. These colors, these are blues. Some of these are going to be super dark. Some of these are going to be really dark. We'll use this one. This is Sapphire Blue. True Blue. And what's this? Periwinkle. Okay, we'll use those. And we'll put the rest of these aside. Let's use these and see what they do. So I'm going to guess it's Sapphire. We'll do a little swatch up here like you're supposed to. Alright, Sapphire. Oh, that's a pretty one. And then True. Alright, so that's darker. And then this one is Periwinkle. Okay, and that's over a little bit of water. Okay. Planned obsolescence is right. Typewriters had ribbons. That's when I learned to type. Pearl Ann remembers pulling the handle. See, there you go. Some of us know. Some of us know. All right, let's work around. Let's do some stuff around these shapes. Those colors are going to be dry, I think. So let's come in here. Put a little water, because that seems to be what is working. And let's use some sapphire in there, shall we? Let's do it. Okay. So, sapphire, I put down water, I put down some pigment, and then I'm going to draw it out the rest of the way. That's going to give us more of, I think, what the watercolor look is meant to be. Don't you? Those of you that are watercolor more familiar with watercolor than I am, I knew it would be dangerous to come on here and just open these and use them. I knew it would be dangerous, but I thought it's probably the best way that I could give an opinion. So far, my opinion is these are a lot of fun. Excuse my throat. Okay. Okay. Don't mind me talking to myself. Just ignore the girl talking to herself. Or not finishing her sentences. That turtle green that is a touchy color, boy. That is a touchy color. I just barely touched it and it's pulling out into this next shape. See, right? I don't know if you can see that, but it's pulling right out. I need to take a lot more of my time with this. But hey, I don't want to stay on here all night. Maybe another 20 minutes or so. That's a pretty color. Pretty color. That is sapphire. Make sure I'm telling you the right color. Sapphire blue. Kind of pretty. Yeah, typing on manual, that is what I learned on, was a manual typewriter. And but I played the piano, and so my fingers were already strong. My finger muscles, I had good control of my individual fingers, where sometimes people didn't have that, you know, because they had never, whoops, well, that was ugly. Oh well. See, with acrylic paint, I would just go in there and just clean that up over here. But if you come in there and clean that up with watercolor, all you do is spread it around. So, yeah. I'm not so good with that. I'm better. See, look at that. Look at that turtle green. That has got some staining power. Boy, I must have put down way too much. Must have put down way too much pigment over there. Although they are watercolors, so they live up to their name. They like to reactivate when wet. So anyway, I started playing the piano when I was very young, and so my finger development, my muscles were really strong in my fingers, my individual fingers, so I didn't have, that wasn't difficult for me. And I also played the flute, and so that also required individual finger control. But kids who played, you know, like the trumpet or French horn or instruments that were similar to that, where they didn't, you know, they were really efficient with a few fingers, but not with all their fingers. Found it considerably more challenging. And then when I was in high school, half of our class, I had to take typing again, because when I took the typing class, it was only, it was a summer school thing. It wasn't for credit. So I had to take it again, and half the class was on electric typewriters, and half the class was on manual typewriters. And so I chose the manual typewriter real quick because that's what I was familiar with. And then they made a switch at one point. And okay, I gotta get in the right screen because I was over in the, yeah. So they made a switch, and so I had to type on a electric typewriter for, I don't know, a couple weeks or something. Holy mackerel, that was a real challenge for me, because I was used to the strength of the manual typewriter keys, and I would touch I would rest my finger a little too hard on the electric keys, and the next thing you know, you've got and then it's time to start over because you can't erase all that. Yeah, it's not like delete on the computer. Yeah. Oh yes, any hoot. Okay, let's come back. I don't know, this is really colorful. Oh, I so want to go back to the yellows. I'm gonna have to go back to the yellows. Where's the yellow? Let's go back and put a little bit of yellow out of here, because just with no warm color out here, this is making me a little crazy. So we're gonna put a little bit of this. Yeah, so when I got a computer that had a bookkeeping program on it, I thought, oh, this is great. This is going to be great, because it'll calculate all this stuff for me, except for the fact that this was back when the programs were new, and there was no such thing as backing up in the program. You had to be deadly accurate, absolutely deadly accurate. You couldn't make mistakes, in other words. Yeah, couldn't make mistakes. Things have come a long way in that regard. A long, long way. Whoops, is that where I want to be? Yeah. Okay. It's very challenging for me to think, work with new stuff I got going on here, and talk and be creative all at the same time over here. Whoa, mercy. Thank you all for popping in and joining us, joining in the craziness over here today, tonight, wherever it is. I'm sure for some of you it's the middle of the night. See, I just have to do this because I couldn't stand not having that yellow come out. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. My artist heart couldn't take it, not bringing that yellow out. I promised myself I was just going to swatch these, and here I am making a mandala out of it. What can I say? It's just how it is. So what are you guys doing? What are you doing tonight? Are you doing something creative? Or are you just letting down from the weekend? Tell you just really want to control yourself and not slop over the lines. Hi, Anne. You're doing Mandala Mad. This is Mandala Madness. This is Mandala Madness. And I loved your Dreambox video. My goodness. Ann Lar was part of that Time for Art video hop. And she has a thing called, I think it's called the Dreambox. It is a hand-built storage organizational system, and wow, that is some organization right there. There were some great ideas that people had, most of which I could never keep up with, but there were some great ideas. But that was neat because it all folds up and just looks like a piece of furniture, like a cabinet or something when it's all folded up. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so we gotta have, see, that looks better having a little bit of that out there. This pink bothers me, but you know, I'm gonna resist. Let's go on. Okay, let's try some of these other strange, kind of interesting, they're not strange, they're just interesting colors. They're not strange, they're just interesting. Bright blue, true blue, periwinkle. One of these we did. Bright blue, is that the one we did? It was bright blue or it was true blue. Which one did we do? Beats me. All right, it was one of those. Let's go to this one. I know we haven't used this one, I don't think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Barb, it doesn't matter. Let's use this one. Whatever this color is, we're going to use it. We're going to put some water in these sections. Doesn't matter. This color, in case you want to know, is periwinkle. Periwinkle blue. Colors are pretty. They're nice and intense. They are intense and quite pretty. Okay, so we've done that. So we're going to put the blues aside. Let's use, I've got some greens here. Let's see what green this is. This is seaweed green. Well, this could be interesting. Seaweed green, I don't know. What color do you think it is? Let's put a little out here so we aren't totally surprised. Oh, it's a nice color. All right, we'll use that one. Let's use that one. All right, we'll put a little water here. Debbie always has trouble being accurate with the long, soft brush tips on any of the brush pens. I can see where it does take practice. I can see where it does take practice. But one of the things that's nice is that you don't have to keep going back to a palette to get more color. So that is a nice thing. So that's nice. That is a nice aspect of these pens. So this is seaweed green. So I've used an assortment of the colors, not all of them by any means, but I've used an assortment of the colors. So maybe what we'll do now is use the rest of this with pencils and see what we can do with some pencils. How's that sound? Sound like a plan, Stan? I think I got a little much water here. I've diluted this down quite a bit. A little bit more than needed, but it's okay. It's kind of appropriate for that shape, that it might be lighter. I was editing one of the videos for one of the courses I'm working on, and one of the things that I said in there was, and it's true, I wasn't lying when I said it, was the things that I think are the ugliest always end up to be my favorite things over time. And it's really true. They do. They end up to be my very favorite things. You know, so often they were not my favorite at all. And then I come back to it after some time of letting them sit, whatever it is. And every time the thing that I thought was the worst becomes my favorite thing. So this could become one of my favorite things. Because right now it's not all that in a bag of chips yet. It's definitely not. Okay. Oh, good for you, Kate. I'm glad you had fun doing it. The hardest thing for me with watercolor is the bloom situation. I'm not fond of the bloom. I am not fond of that bloom. Okay, so that is all I'm going to do with these pens. Whoops, wrong tip. That goes on this. That's all I'm going to do with the real brush pens. So there's quite an assortment of colors. We used, I'll show you. Let me get them all going the same direction. You're like trying to hold on to. Okay, so we used most of those colors right there. There might be a couple that we didn't use, but use most of those colors on this. There's still, oh, and this one, we used that one too. There's still this tray, which is the browns and taupes and grays and so forth, and a few pinks and whatever, pinks and grape purple, so some dark purples that we didn't use. So there's quite a few colors, quite a few colors. All right, so now let's take a look at some of the watercolor pencils. What I have here is a clear plexiglass palette that I asked Clausman if he would sand the surface for me to rough it up, because what I was going to use it for is watercolor pencils. They're very interesting, Nell. They're very interesting. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to try them more to be able to really say, you know, give a definitive answer about that, because I'm not experienced enough with them to give you much of an answer yet. Not very experienced. Okay, so I'm just going to get the watercolor pencils out, and then I'm just going to look at them a minute. And let's look at this. So I'm just going to kind of take a look for a second. And what color should we put on the next layer? Let's just do, all right, let's do this. I don't know what color it is. I'm just going to get that color out, and this color, and this color. All right, and maybe this color. Okay, so I've got several colors of the watercolors pencils, and so what I'm going to do, this is a rough surface. He sanded it for me, and so I'm going to just put, I probably should put a white piece of paper under that so you can see it. So that way it will let the pigment come off. Now I know there's all different kinds of ways to use watercolor pencils too. But this way I can just put the color down, and then I can just pick it up. Alright, so the colors I'm using, we have lilac, fuchsia, peacock blue, and basil green. So those are the colors that I've got going on here. So we'll see what they do. My guess is that they're going to be significantly lighter. Well, let's find out, shall we? Okay, let's find out. Let's go to, how about let's use this green. And let's go to, I think you can see that okay. Let's just put some in here. Yeah, so you don't have the intensity of the color. But I think that, you know, it's good. Variety is good. So this is kind of a background kind of shape here. And then of course you could come back over this and you could shade on top of this with other pencils and stuff. We're just gonna put the color in here for the moment. Just fill in the color. Okay, let's go to this blue right here. What was that? Peacock blue. And let's put peacock blue in here. So just picking it up off the palette like this, the pencils are very light. But you can get the color on quickly, that is for sure, when you're working with these. Not nearly as intense as the brushes are, the real brushes. And one of the hardest things for me with watercolor is to put it on and leave it alone and let it dry and come back to it. Or remember not to paint something that's right next to something else. That is the hardest thing for me to remember. It really is hard for me to remember that. But I started out painting many years ago with oil paints, and it didn't matter, you know, because you painted on top, you know, colors on top of colors on top of colors. So yeah. All right, let's see what happens if, let's pick another color of blue. Let's see what happens if we put this down. I'm going to put it on really lightly and then activate it, and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I'm going to zoom in so you can see with me. You can get the full effect with me. Okay, so there we go. I put color in there. While we're at it, we'll do this one on this side. So I'm just putting down little circles of color. All right, let's see what happens. Realizing that I'm working on very inexpensive paper. Well, that liquefied really nicely, I have to say. You know how sometimes with watercolor pencils, you see the pencil strokes. It looked pretty cool. Looked pretty nice. I use the watercolor pencils a lot. It's just not something I have done a lot. Just not. Okay, let's do that. We'll continue that all the way around. I'm just going to put the color on the rest of these shapes, similar shapes, same shapes all the way around. And then we'll just liquefy them all at once. Liquefy is probably not the right word, but that's what I'm calling it because I'm adding water to it. Look at this. Yeah, the red just went right out there and just added a little. I just said, no, I'm going to put some red out here in this green. Huh. Okay. All right. But these are much lighter in color. Using the pencils this way, they're a lot lighter, more pastel. But there's a big wide variety of colors in this particular set of, what was it, 72? 72. Lots of variety of colors. So there's probably some good dark ones in there as well. This paper isn't coated with anything. It's just watercolor paper, inexpensive watercolor paper. I drew the mandala using a glaze pen after I did it in pencil first. I went back over it with this black glaze pen. But it's just the raw watercolor paper that I'm working over. Plain watercolor paper. I'm pleasantly surprised how these pencils dissolve. Of course, we'll see what they do when they're dry, huh? Maybe we'll use a pencil, because this pink is so flat in here. Maybe we'll use another pencil on top of that. Let's do that. Okay, let's use this, whatever this is. What is this? Fuchsia. I'm going to move my plastic palette out of the way because working with the pencils is working fine without having to scratch it off on the palette at the moment. Oh, I'm going to be in here by that turtle green again. This could be deadly, people. This could be absolutely deadly. Alright, let's see what happens. This could be bad news. Apparently we want to have a little blue in this one as well. Alright, it's good enough. Let it dry. Let it dry, Barb. Let it dry. Let it dry. Don't bother it. Let it dry. Do any of you guys have trouble with that? It's like I just want to keep messing with it. Just messing with it, messing with it, messing with it. And next thing you know, the paper's going to pill and It's going to be a mess. Watercolor, real bona fide watercolor artists are going to go, oh my gosh, this person doesn't know what she's doing. That's true. It is true that she doesn't know what she's doing. It is true. It is true. It is true. Okay. Okay, careful for the turtle green there, kiddo. Be careful of the turtle green. Careful, careful, careful. Careful, careful. Everybody hold your breath. I don't get that. All right, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. But the stuff of putting on color and then having to let it dry and then having to come back and then let it dry and then come back. And, I'm not so good at that. I'm not so patient about that. Not so patient. Okay, let's put some more of, let's put some of this color. Let's see what that does. See if I can get a little bit. What I want is variety. So it's not all the same flatness. Don't want it to be all the same flat color. That looks better. That looks better. Is Noit here? Oh my goodness. I didn't know you were even here, Noit. Hello and good night. That shows you how much I was paying attention. I'm not going to be on here too much longer myself. Yeah, that's better. That's better. That way it's not so flat. Let's do something with that green. The green is too flat. Let's do something with the green. Put another color. We'll just do these two. This one and the one next to it. And this color is ocean blue. Keep the turtle green happy and company. We'll put some ocean blue. All right, let's see what we can do. Yeah, see, that makes me so much happier when I can get a little more variety in a shape. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I can see it. I like it. Okay. So it's got, the only thing I haven't done is the in-between spaces and add a little more depth to the various shapes and stuff, you know, so that we could see a little bit more. But then see, what happens now is the part where I get, that I like, and that is to start just adding stuff, you know, embellishing it. The goo-ga, the embellishment, the frosting. I'm just looking at my pen choices here. Oh, well, thank you for being here. It was definitely an impromptu. Definitely. And see, this is the part that this is where I can get lost for hours. Oh, and then I forget I'm supposed to be talking. And I forget to talk. And then my voice decides, it's like, oh, I'm done, and we're not going to talk anymore, and you're going to have to go to sleep now because we're done talking. The vocal cords have given all they intend to give. So color swatching and testing out new materials doesn't have to be done in a traditional color swatch. You know, I know that James Burke does dolls, swatch dolls, and those are really fun to watch him do. If you're not familiar with him, he's a really interesting, fascinating artist. He does very illustrative kinds of figures. But that's how he tests a lot of his products, I believe, is doing what he calls swatch dolls. So when he's finished, he has something, and he gets to see what the colors are like at the same time. So the Arteza, whatever, however you say it, Real Brush pens, Real Brush pens, yep, that's their name, are interesting and highly pigmented, a lot of colors, and they're fun. A lot of colors, beautiful colors. The watercolor pencils, we didn't do a whole lot with those, but I can see that those have a lot of possibilities as well. A lot of possibilities. So this is where I will probably leave you here shortly. See, once I get started on this, I can't stop. Yeah, this is where it makes me want to just keep going, keep going, keep going. And then I play back and forth. So by the time I get finished with something like this, with all the embellishment on it, you can't really tell that that I went outside the lines. Can't really tell that I went outside the lines when I get done, you know. So you just go and you go and you go. Yeah, I agree, Race. I agree. Thank goodness. Will I be playing with it all night? Probably not. Probably not. I have other stuff I need to do. Will I be framing this? Oh no. Oh no. No, there won't be any framing of this. This is just, this kind of thing was just for fun. Yeah, this is just for fun. This is not frame worthy. It's not frame worthy, but it's fun. I might cut it apart, you know, cut out parts that I liked. I might do that. I could do that. So anyway, that is, Glaze pens waterproof. They seem to be. They seem to be. Let's see, what did they officially say on the package? Let's read the package. Glossy 3D colors, add shine and texture. Works on plastic, coated paper, glass, and metal. Apply slowly to let the ink flow thickly. Allow 5 to 10 minutes drying time. 3D effect works best on non-porous surfaces, which this is not part of that. This is porous. Set includes clear gloss for dimension without color. Not evaluated for cosmetic use on skin. Not permanent, it says. I don't know if that means on skin or on something else. So there you go. Okay, so that's that. So check out the Arteza real brush pens if you are interested in those. Check out their watercolor pencils. I did not use the watercolor paper that they sent, but anyway, it was good fun. So I enjoyed it. All right, I will see you all, unless something happens where I pop on again. I will plan to see you the first Friday in September for Drama Free Friday. All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. And I hope you have a great week, the rest of the week ahead of you. And remember to get creative today, because you know it's easy. See you next time. Bye, everybody.